Yesterday, I spoke about the sense of confusion, the sort of that sense that I had to do something else. I had to expand in some way on what I was doing, whether it was being more productive with my time, increasing my word count or my sessions. Something has to change. That's sort of what became apparent for me. And I spoke before about how when you get into this state of confusion, when you get into this point where you kind of recognize that something needs to be different, but you're not exactly sure what that is, that state of confusion, that's often a good place to be in terms of making progress. Because often in sort of the process of making change and sort of improvement, the confusion stage is always comes in the middle. It's always like that. It's kind of like that last final hurdle before you start seeing some sort of result, or in this case, the result basically is clarity. That this period of confusion, it's probably the most annoying part, but it is the part of the process that will be kind of the end. It is the final step, I think, before you start seeing, getting a sense of clarity and you start being able to make some sort of progress where you're at. But man, this process lasts forever. This process lasts a very, 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 very long time. Um, and it's not just that it lasts a long time, it's that it informs everything else. And that's a really good insight, I think, as far as staying committed to this writing process. It's that your writing informs the rest of your life, at least for me. I imagine it's probably the same for other writers as well, in that, when you have a bad day at the keyboard, you have a bad day everywhere else too. It's pretty rare that I can have a bad writing session and then have, a bunch of amazing things happen to me during the day, during my regular day job. It's rare to have one or the other. It's usually both. It's usually, if you have a good session of writing, the rest of your day goes at least pleasantly well. Um, if you are committed to your writing, things usually go well. It's when I'm trying to avoid the keyboard, when I'm in that state of writer's block, in that state of procrastination. That's when everything else in my life also feels like it's in that state where I become less focused on certain things, I become less motivated, I become stagnant in a lot of different areas of my life. The writing always informs everything else, and right now I'm in that state of confusion. Not just in the writing, but everything, it seems right now is sort of cloaked by this cloud of like indecision, and this sort of cloud of like, all right, what's going on here? I just filmed a chess video last night, which I'll be uploading in a few days for this week's Climb the Reading Ladder episode. And I'll give you a spoiler: my game sucked. I played absolutely terrible. It was one of the worst games I've had in months. I don't think it's a coincidence that this happened on the same day that I was talking about being confused in my writing, being sort of confused on the path, and how to sort of go forward and what that next step is going to be. Again, it all takes place in the brain, right? The writing, the making the sentences, that takes place in the brain. Making the decisions, that takes place in the brain. Other activities, like I said, like just giving an example of chess, that takes place in the brain. It all comes from basically that same place. And I think if you are affected by one thing, everything else gets affected too. And so, man, for now, I am just like trudging through this confusion here, just moving through it. And if there's one thing that helps with that state of confusion, it's maintaining the habit. It's maintaining the idea of just going through and doing the work. That discipline is what can kind of keep you, I think, moving forward through the confusion. So today, I got up and I wrote. I wrote. I think it ended up being probably just 2 paragraphs today, but I wrote. I got something down, and they were pretty good paragraphs. They weren't great, but they were pretty decent paragraphs. Um, yeah, I moved forward. I moved forward through that. I kind of pushed through that, at least for a day, through that sort of that fog of confusion, and then hopefully, um, in the coming days, that'll go away soon. At least I hope. Um, but yeah, I mean that's what it is. That is what this whole process is. It is the pathway of confusion. It is the it's getting stuck at a certain point and moving forward and not knowing what the other side looks like, but just moving forward and hoping that by going forward, something will come to you. Some idea will come to you. It's focusing at least on the one or two goals that you have and just getting those completed. And that's really what today was all about. So with that, I'm going to sign off here. If you enjoyed that video, obviously give it a like. I will see you all tomorrow.